even more important in the COVID world. I think now somewhere the normalcy is coming back, but when suddenly all of us had to remain at home and we didn't go to events or we didn't interact with our colleagues, there were lesser opportunities. And that is when the idea came into my mind, like, why don't we create some session where we talk about networking, right? And I know that there are different types of learners. And I always say this because I can go on, talk about a topic, but for you to make some sense out of it, sometimes we learn by seeing something. Sometimes we learn by hearing, that is listening. And sometimes we learn by doing. So there are different levels in which one learns. So today we will just go through a presentation. And at the end, or probably in between, I'll try and engage you. And I'm sure you will learn a thing or two. So as a learner, you definitely want to know, okay, what is the learning objective? Why are we doing this session? So in order for you to understand that, I'll quickly just tell you how the flow is going to be. We'll see a kind of an example of time and growth in our careers. And why should we network? The importance of networking. Then also we look at what is it that stops us from networking? How can one start with? And what is an approach that you can take? A very simple one. We'll also look at a sample profile, and then we'll have question and answers. So you must be wondering, like, okay, what do we mean by a sample profile? Because just imagine if we continue to work from home and professionally you want to network, then the platform that we have is LinkedIn, right? So I'll just touch upon that part. All right, so let's look at these two characters, Ina and Meena. Okay. Now, couple of parameters that are applicable to both Ina and Meena. One is, let's say their education, they both are BTech in computer science. Both come from the same college. They got placed in new age company at the same time through campus. Started their career at the same time, 2010. Role that was offered to both of them is software engineer. Starting salary probably, let's say 5 lakhs per annum. Now current role, fast forward to 2021, Ina is at manager, same company, both of them are employed, but Meena is a director. And Ina earns 20 lakhs per annum, whereas Meena earns 50 lakhs per annum. And no brainer, if I ask you, okay, what is the difference between these two characters? You can easily say that their current role or the designation and their salary is different, right? Now, if you have to plot this into a graph, same information. Typically, even our lifespan development as human beings, with time, we grow, right? So from an infant to a toddler, adolescent, teenager, early adulthood, middle adulthood, late adulthood, and all. So it takes time. For our career also, our growth happens basis certain time. So in this case, if Meena is there, Ina is here, what has caused this shift or the gap? Now the variables can be a lot, right? So if you can unmute, probably I would like to just hear from some of you, what do you think might have happened? Some variables that you can think of, where one is career is kind of stagnant, but the other actually had a good graph. Because I can't see if you're typing in chat because I'm in a full screen mode, but feel free to unmute yourself and tell me what could have happened.
I think the second person who has become a director, she might have got the opportunities and the good exposure while she was growing. So because of that, she has grown. So simultaneously, I do understand that she would have put her effort in doing hard work and in networking, as you said, in socializing with the people. So all these factors might have added her growth, but
Yeah.
her basic hard work and her uh, you can say interest and the track in which she was interested, she was really into that particular track and into that goal in that life growth cycle. So because of
Yep.
that, all these factors, she would have grown, I believe.
Absolutely. So the key point that I'll take from what you said is opportunities. So we'll talk about the opportunities. Thank you so much. Anybody else?
I think that reason could be some certifications she had done for achieving that position. And apart from that, it is obvious that directorship is the director is responsible for managing a team. So she must have some like team managing like capabilities and this kind of expertise, so that management has decided to give her opportunity in that role. So it's a personal capability or personal expertise, which may also like help her to reach that position.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And I captured skill or certification, and then the management gave her responsibilities and all. So thank you. I think we are getting there, and we will touch upon whatever you just said, the opportunities or the management support or the skills one I picked up, which allowed them to move faster, is primarily because an American author, Helen Keller, said, alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. And as we go in our session, you will be able to connect the dots and understand how one can look at those opportunities. Because at
I have
times,
a,
sorry.
I'm sorry, I have a point to make here, right? I think the comfort and growth does not coexist. So I think the individuals who have seen the growth has certainly looked beyond staying in the comfort zone and gone the extra mile to achieve all that you just stated, right? The skills, the networking, and everything else. So I think the fundamental point here is comfort and growth does not coexist.
Absolutely, you're so right, because when you move out of your comfort zone, the other zone is called the opportunity zone. And we will see about the comfortable stuff in a subsequent slide. So thank you so much for that. Now, let's quickly move on. Now, why should we network? I mean, again, no brainer, but I will kind of simplify it by a couple of pictures. So sometimes networking will help you gather some important data. Okay, but data alone is not enough. So what happens with data is you have to make some meaningful stuff out of that data, right? So when you network with people, probably you will gain some information, right? Then comes the knowledge. Now, when you look at some senior folks, you say that, okay, that person is knowledgeable. The reason why that person is knowledgeable is because besides the data and information, they were able to kind of connect those dots. But just connecting dots, is it enough? No, because there might be insights that you need to draw. Sometimes you might have the knowledge, but you lack those insights. So when you are in touch with, let's say, a senior person in the organization, they might have those insights. So that will help you gain insights. And lastly, it is the wisdom. Sometimes you need to connect those two dots that you see here, the ones in yellow, right? So the bottom line is, in order to be successful, now again, success can be defined as a very socio-psychological concept, but whatever you want, there are people out there who are willing to help you. The key thing is to have a diverse group of connections. And I will tell you in subsequent slide as to where we get stuck, right? So I'll not ponder much on why networking is important, because you must have seen yourself, you might have experienced yourself, or you have seen others getting benefit when they have a larger pool of connections and a stronger professional or personal network. Now, what stops us? Now, let me hear from you again. What are some of the things that come to your mind? Why is it that we don't proactively network? I'm talking about proactive. So why don't we network?
I think maybe because if you do more networking, sometimes you might have faced a situation where you lost the privacy, and in case if you succeed or failure, both things will disperse in the network very fast, and you might be get losing your weightage, your image. So because of that, people will try to avoid doing the networking and socializing. So
Okay.
if any person is growing in the right direction with the full potential, then those people try to more network, because they are having the lot of plus points, because of which they might get network and they might get fame.
Okay, so I'll stick to privacy for a minute. Okay, so you're saying that whatever you have, something that is known to you will become like a public information, and you struggle, you don't want to. So I would say that sometimes being vulnerable will also help. Try that. Be it with your team or with your superiors, with your own self. Try that. Okay.
Sometimes people also exhibit a lack of confidence while talking to others.
Lack of confidence. Absolutely. Yes, we are not confident. And now there could be underlying reasons why we are not confident. But there are very, main areas why we don't network.
I believe that it depends upon the personal like attitude and the character. Like the people who are introvert, like they don't have a huge network with them, because they due to their natural way, they don't want to speak others and spread his views to others. But
Wonderful.
whereas the extrovert people, like they have a huge network with them, so they can do it very well.
Very nice. Yes. So all of us are fit into a personality type or a trait personalities. And introvert, extrovert, there's something called an ambivert also, which is in between. So I get that. All right. So it is individual in nature. Now let's look at some of the research. So when the researchers figured out as to why we don't proactively network, they said most of us fear of the rejection. We might feel that, okay, I approach somebody and then they might not respond to me, or the networking connection doesn't get established. So we fear rejection. That is the primary cause why some of us don't network. Second is we feel that it is more self-serving. I mean, I want it. And I'll give you an example. In a couple of slides, I'll give you an example of some of the requests that I get on LinkedIn and how self-serving that might come out. Right? Then the other bit is, what is it that I can give? Because most often or not, when we think about network, we kind of think about somebody who can give us some value. There is some value addition that will be done from the other party. But in return, what is it that I can give? And especially when you are like a junior resource or you are a mid-management person and you shy away from networking with a senior most person because you don't know what you can give to them, right? Then sometimes the intimidation. Somebody is again at a higher position or society-wise, the person is successful and you kind of get intimidated reaching out to that person. And I can give you a number of examples where the people who there is a gap between your profile and that person's profile, but when you reach out to them, you will be surprised at how humble they are and how forthcoming and helpful they will be. The other is, okay, what is the other person going to think about me when I reach out to them? How are they going to react? What is going to be their reaction? So we all think in our own mind about these things. Then cultural aspects are another important point, because we don't know how it works in a different culture. But mostly the internet and the global village that we have become, the lines are blurring. But still, today, if I tell you that, okay, go and talk, kind of establish a network with a South American personality, then probably you'll think twice, but you will be far more open to network to a Hyderabadi, or for that matter, somebody in India, right? There could be a lot of reasons, but these are some top reasons that we have heard. And when I ask students or working professionals, they give out answers in this area. Anything else that you think we missed in what stops us from proactively networking?
Could you please explain that give option once more, please?
Yeah, sure. So the give is, let's say, okay, now assume that all of you are like students in colleges, and I am somebody who's working in HR in an organization. You want to network with me, and you know very well that if you network with me, you might get certain pointers of what you can do to gain employment. But in return, what is it that you can give it to me? So as a student, you will always think like, okay, what can I give to the other person? I will definitely get something from the other person, but in return, what can I give? So that is where they stop, that, okay, I don't have anything to offer to that person, and they'll stop. But they completely miss the point that they can provide appreciation to that person. Because all of us are hungry of appreciation, right? So even if you are at a junior position, you make the other person feel important by providing your honest appreciation. And that way also relationships gets established.
Right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. So moving on. So when we spoke about, or we just heard, I'm sorry, I'm unable to capture anybody's name because I'm on full screen mode. So when we spoke about the comfortable zone and the opportunity zone, the first thumb rule is we have to become comfortable being uncomfortable. Because when you put yourself in any of these scenarios, it is a little uncomfortable, right? So the first thing is become comfortable with that. Now, before we actually move on, I just wanted to show you, and I picked this from a very nice book called Mojo. It talks about your identity. We spoke about the personality types. Sometimes somebody might have this strong belief that, why should I do it? Why should I be the one who should initiate it? If the other person needs something, they'll come forward and ask me. I'm not going to do it. You know? So there are a few things that you need to identify about yourself. And it's a 4x4 kind of stuff where you have a future ahead of you and you have your past behind. There are others in the equation, and at one end, it is you. So when you remember about yourself, what you did in the past, that is your remembering self, not the experiencing self. Right now, what you are doing is you're experiencing something. Post this, when you go back and remember this session, then you will be remembering how you were in that session. So that's a remembering self. When other people reflect about your past, right? So they kind of feed you with some information. Even if you don't remember about certain aspects, they will remind you. So that becomes a part of your identity. The third is, people have already told you what you will be good at, or what you can do, or what you will do. Mostly our families or the guests who come to our home, they see something and then they reflect. So somewhere your whole identity was getting built by your own self, by others, looking at the past, looking at the future. But the bigger question to ask is, what is it that you want to be? Now that will also have some implication, because you kind of go back in time and look at how you have been. And somewhere you got convinced that, okay, this is what I can be. But you'll be surprised to know the huge potential that all of us have, and we don't tap into that potential. So the first thing to do before networking is to identify yourself. Okay, what is it that you want out of that networking? Now, there might be a lot of questions in your mind like, okay, but how do I transition from here and how do I connect the dot to networking? Let me tell you in the other book, Ikigai, it's a Japanese word. In this, it very beautifully describes as to how you can figure out your reason for being. It says, what is it that you love to do? We have often heard this. We have often heard from a lot of people that do what you love to do, but somewhere again, we are comfortable in doing what we are doing and we don't pursue what we want to do. And I'll give you my own example. If you look up my LinkedIn profile, out of the 20 years, you will find 18 years I was in delivery. I was in project management, that kind of stuff in cloud infrastructure services. But I figured out that, okay, that is not the place for me. And I moved into HR just 2 years back. All right, so I know what I love to do, and I have decided that. And then what the world needs. Obviously, there are a lot of areas, but what is going to be your contribution and what the world needs, there is an intersection. What you can be paid for, obviously, unless you are into full social service and you are altruistic and selfless and all. But to manage other things, you definitely want to be paid, and what you are good at. Now, the boxes, the intersections, if you attach what you are good at and what you love to do, is your passion. Because the more you do it, you will become better at it, right? What you love to do and what the world needs can become your mission. And what you can be paid for and what the world needs is your vocation. And what you're good at and what you will be paid will be your profession. And in the circle, it is reason for being. And this search is not easy. Probably it looks very nice on a picture, but often we struggle. And especially the people who have, crossed 35 mark or about reaching 40. And in other psychological world, it's called midlife crisis. That is where a lot of questions come into the mind as to, okay, what should I be doing? So my message is early on, if you sit down and do an exercise, because the tools are available, you start putting down when you are in isolation without any distractions, hard thinking, probably it will allow you to kind of get what you want. Probably it might look like, okay, for this person, it might have been so easy to move into HR, but there are a lot of things that have happened and I did not know until people started asking me questions. And when I was responding, I have unearthed a lot of things about myself, which helped me to move into HR. And I'll give you 3 examples. Probably you can connect the dots. When I was in delivery, I used to read a lot of books. One day, one of my friends said, can you send me a picture of the books that you read? Because I want to see if there is any interesting title and I'll borrow the book from you. I took a picture and I sent it to her. She said, did you observe something? I said, what? She said, out of the 20 books in that picture, half of them have either the human word or people word in it. And that was kind of an aha moment for me, like, okay, why is it that being in cloud infrastructure services and cloud being the thing these days, why am I not reading about AWS, Azure, GCP and all? Why am I reading about topics like these? That was one. Second, when I look at it, my dad was in police. He was an instructor for IPS officers. So somewhere, I think when I was growing up, I saw the respect that my dad received for his services that he was offering as an instructor. That is second. Third, I got an opportunity to live outside of India, because in India, all my friends are into IT, etc. But when I was living in Amsterdam and London, I came across people from different walks of life. And that is how I knew what an anthropologist does and what a psychologist does and what is philosophy and stuff like that. So combining all of this, and in my school's belt, the motto was learn to serve. So just imagine when you went to school, every day you put on that belt and every day you saw, you didn't realize, but in your unconscious, subconscious, whatever, that term was getting built. For 10, 15 years, you saw that motto. So the universe kinds of manifests things for you. Probably for me, it took like 18 years to figure out my place. And I'll be very honest, I didn't do soul searching or I didn't do this search because I didn't know about these things. I got exposed to it only now. And now I have made it a point that, okay, I think we need to spread this. And that is how I am doing this session for you guys through the help of Saif and Tausif and all. So please do this first search. Okay, so which one you can't name here? There are 4 out here. If I ask you which one you can't name, what would be your answer?
Fourth one.
Fourth one, right? Again, it's a no-brainer. The first three are geometry figures. The fourth one probably is used, but it is not so common. So what you have just demonstrated is the human ability. For years, centuries, we have been trying to break down complex things and trying to simplify it. What you have done, you have looked at the pattern because you know, okay, this falls into a particular group that is outside of it. Similarly, when I say networking, there are tools available. So you can use that networking tool to establish your network. So first is, let's take an example. The purpose for you to network is you have to complete a college project. Okay. You put purpose there and then you think about, okay, who are the members that I can have? Let's say there is a Ruha, Shabina, Alam, Tania, Asba, Ayan. Okay, these are the 6 people that you think can help you in that college project. Then you have to draw a circle. In the center, obviously, it's you because that is where it starts. And then you draw these 3 other circles. You want to color code it? Absolutely fine. Then you write regular first, sometimes, and rarely. So regular can be, probably once a week or in a month. Sometimes it's like quarterly, rarely is 6 months and beyond. Then you divide it into 3 sections. Then you start putting these people there. Okay, you can give names like, okay, somebody is from the same college and same stream that you're a part of. Some people might be in different streams, same college. Few people can be in different college and completely different stream. And you start putting, okay, Ruha is there, but how often do I speak to Ruha? Sometimes. Whereas with Shabina, okay. Then Alam, very, very regularly. Dania, from a different college, regular. Asba, sometimes. And Ayan, rarely, from different college. When you start doing this, you will be surprised to know the kind of people that you're talking to. And I can bet, without even asking anybody, most of us have not done this exercise. We don't sit down and use any tool. We don't sit down and think. Even if we think, we don't put it on a piece of paper because we get distracted. And the moment you put it down and you put it somewhere and you constantly work towards it, possibilities are endless. So it's like, replacing the engine oil. We can't have the same amount of network throughout our life. In the car example, if you want the car to function smoother, you got to replace the engine oil. Similarly, for your life situation, where you are today, where you want to be, people who will come and support you needs to change. And there is a very wonderful study that says that we will have close to 150 people in our life, that we are in constant touch with, out of which I think 40 or 50 regular touch with. Even if you lose touch with few, that figure will get filled by a new set of people. If you just have to reflect on your own life, there are probably you change organizations. The people that you work with today are in constant touch with you, and the people that you used to work are kind of gone. Similar case with college friends or neighbors, or these days even your relatives, right? So don't let the natural process take place, but have some efforts and a very targeted approach, something like this, for the objective that you have, right? So this is a networking tool that you can use. Now, good to have. What is it that you need to have in your network? That was an example, but I'll just tell you about the buckets that each one of us need to have a network on. Definitely, we need somebody at a strategic level. So when I say strategic level, depends on your scenario. If you're working for a corporate, then definitely the strategic people are the leaders, the heads, and the functional owners and people like that. Operational is the peers who are working in the same space, maybe same role, different departments, same levels. Developmental is your mentors, coaches. They form your development. And I don't have to explain what each person in this category will bring in. The strategic person will tell you what are the latest trends that are happening in the space that you are in. If you are into cloud, then okay, what is Google going to do? What are the new products that are coming up and stuff like that? They'll be able to tell you. Operational is obviously you alone can't work. You need support from a cross-functional team or other team. Then those guys will kind of fill in for you and support you. Developmental, again, is something very few people do it. Operational, everybody is wonderful because, you know, it's the same level playing field. You're comfortable dealing with that. But strategic, you have a little fear. Developmental, okay, what is it that I can offer? But let me tell you, developmental will bring the best in you, the blind spots or the potentials and all, developmental. Strategic guys don't have a lot of time, but they can give you some insights, and with that insight, it will help you to kind of, when we talk about opportunities, we spoke, when I asked you, okay, what is the difference between Ina and Meena? You said she got opportunities. So where does the opportunities come from? Your mentors, coaches might not be able to give you opportunities. Opportunities can be given by people in the strategic level. So again, if I have to talk about my example, I was already a director in cloud infrastructure services, and I met the head of talent management for our company. I used to travel. I'm based out of Hyderabad, but I used to travel a lot to Bangalore and other places, and she was placed in Bangalore. I sent her an invite saying that I just wanted to catch up with you because I have certain thoughts around talent management and I wanted to pick your brain. She said, yeah, come over. And I went, we went to a canteen, we had coffee, and she heard me speak. 7 months down the line, I get a call from her saying that there's a large global project we are planning to roll out in HR space, and you have worked in project management, you have global exposure. Would you like to pick up this project? And eventually you will become a part of HR. Are you okay with that? So had I missed that opportunity of meeting her, proactively sending her an invite, I don't think so she would have remembered or could have reached out to me. So that is the strategic network. Now the developmental network, there was a facilitator who came to teach us how facilitation needs to be done. And during lunch, I asked her, for 3 days you saw me, you saw how I facilitate or train. What do you think, where should I be? And I was still in business at that point in time. She said, you will make a best coach. And then I was like, okay. So I've started my coaching journey as well. So now she has become my coach. From an outsider facilitator, a vendor, now she has become my coach. So you see, we all get exposed to opportunities in our lives. It's just that We are so distracted with a lot of things. And I'll give you an example. Today evening, I had a session with college kids. There's another foundation I do. And to my surprise, I got to know that very few people signed up. And I asked the question, why? They said, because today evening, there's a match between Australia and New Zealand, the final IPL or the T20. And I'm like, okay. So I think there are a lot of distractions in our lives, which kind of held us back from achieving what we are capable of doing. So see who are the people that you can fit into each group of networks that you can have. Okay, simple approach. As I said, it starts with you. First thing, identify. The best thing to do is leverage the existing network that you have developed. Your phone is a good medium. You have a lot of contacts in your phone book. Just make a note of who are the people that you have not been in touch with. You want to reestablish that connection. Reach out. In order to reach out, you need to muster that courage. When I say courage, courage to hear a no from that person, or courage to get ignored, because everybody's life situation is different. Ask. Now, your ask needs to be purposeful. I get like 10, 15, 20 requests on LinkedIn every day. Hardly anybody mentions why they are trying to reach out to me. They don't mention anything in their invitation for connection. And I don't accept that. Unless I know that person, probably I might have interacted and I don't need an introduction to that person, I'll accept. Or if there is a larger common connection between us and this is the profile of the person, I'll accept. But I don't deny any request that comes with some text in it. And I'll show you an example. So your ask needs to be purposeful and then maintain. Because networking relationship or anything, there needs to be reciprocity with each other. Now you might think like, okay, I mean, the person is not known. I mean, I just interacted once. How can I reciprocate? Let me tell you, through LinkedIn, I have received a lot of requests. And for mentoring, coaching, I get a lot of requests. There's this girl from Delhi, Shriram College. She reached out very beautifully. She sent me an invitation and she was doing her MBA HR. It's been like 9 months now. First Saturday of every month, we connect for half an hour and we kind of exchange ideas. And now she is placed in American Express in the HR space. She was courageous to reach out. She made it very purposeful. And she makes it a point that even if I forget, she put something in my diary for a connect for half an hour. So it has to be like that. It's a continuous process. That's why you don't see an end here. So let's take an example because I'm cognizant of the time. Let's say you want to reach out to data scientist in Hyderabad. Type data scientist in Hyderabad in LinkedIn, simple. You will see so many. Here, my second degree connection, if you see this guy, Mohammad Sattar, I have like 6 or more connections with this person. I'll reach out to them instead of reaching out to him first and ask these people how well he or she knows Sattar. Basis, I'll get introduced to him through them. If they say that, okay, they don't, then I'll reach out myself. See the request that I got. When I was talking about self-serving, I've hidden the name of the person. Says, I'm actively looking for change in SOE, OSP, or whatever. She sent me a request. Very, very poor request. Why should I be willing to invest when it looks like this? So the key there is first deposit, withdraw later. Now, how do you deposit? I'll show you in the second. Look at this. This person sent me this request and how beautifully this person sent. He called out certain things. When you look at my profile, the causes that I support is around the community. I mean, what I'm doing today with you guys with the help of Saif and Tausif is also for the community, right? So he called that out in his request. And I definitely accepted this person's request. So it's not about being different, but genuine. Okay. So a couple of things on the profile, then we'll go to question and answer. So pictures, I see a lot of people put pictures, where the face is not visible. And this is a professional stuff, LinkedIn. So please have a picture which is very visible to people. Sometimes names, I mean, my name gets spoiled a lot of time. A lot of people refer me as Sajjad. And LinkedIn has given a good option to record your name. So use that. Then the activity list. What is it that you're doing? What are you commenting on? What are you liking? What post are you putting in? Stuff like that. Everything gets observed. And in this world that we are living in, where technology and everything is so connected, let me tell you, the potential future recruiters will also see where you are commenting. And it is very disappointing at times when I see few people fighting over political matters and religious matters on a platform like LinkedIn. And those are the distractions. So please stay away from that and use LinkedIn only for professional purposes. Then have a few things about what you have done in your career. Few people just type the name of the company and then the role. Maybe a couple of bullets will help. But at the same time, what Herbert Simon says, a wealth of information creates a poverty of attention. Too much of information, people will not look at it. They don't have the time. So keep it like crisp. Then also talk about the relevant stuff. I see a lot of people putting so many certifications which are not relevant to the role that you are doing or the role that you want to do. So as I said, I am in learning and development. I will put things which are closer to that. And I want to pursue my coaching, then I'll put that. I don't want to put my cloud certifications here because that world is gone. I don't want to capitalize on that. My journey is different now. So look at your profile and put only relevant stuff. And every time you want to apply for a job, then please change. Keep the ones that is closely associated to the job that you're going to apply for. And then there are skills that you can get endorsed. You can endorse others. Recommendations, give more of recommendations. I mean, I see that a lot of people ask for recommendations and ask it from the people that you know, but I would say give more. All right. And LinkedIn allows you to do a lot of things. As you can see here, that tells you so many things you can put. But again, relevancy is the important stuff. In summary, social networking is not networking, and certainly that's not working. Social network, if you think that, okay, you can build network, it might help you to establish network, but it will not help you to maintain. So you have to make a little effort. If you are in the same city with that person, catch up. I mean, I received a request very recently by somebody who was International Coach Federation certified coach and is from IIM Calcutta. And he is also based out of Hyderabad. He saw my profile, I don't know from where. He sent me a note. He lives in Gachibowli where I am. And he said, why don't we catch up? I said, yes, let's catch up. And lastly, there are people out there who can help you go faster and further than if you are on your own. And that brings to an end to my talk. And now I will be happy to take questions from you. Anything that you have heard in the last 50 minutes.
Sajjad sir, I have one question. My
Yeah.
name is Haq, and how do we deal with biasness in case if you even apply the formula which you showed, but then there are biasness, elements of biasness and many other aspects. So how do you deal with those?
Okay. So Abdul Haq, when you say biases, are you trying to say that when we reach out to somebody, they might be biased towards us? So,
in terms of opportunity, let's say you would want to have a role, but then that role even though you are capable and you are eligible for that, but then because of the race and the sex, you're not given that opportunity. The opportunity is then given to someone who is from their country.
okay, all right. So this is a very bigger issue because one, bias is very natural to all of us. I mean, all of us have biases, and biases were important for our survival. And if you are in an environment where somebody is biased towards their in-group, so again, biases will lead to prejudices that we have, then stereotyping and all those concepts. So if somebody else is getting, you are not getting, then there is a very difficult battle that you can't win because biases don't change very easily. So the best thing that you can do is go and join an environment where you will get what you want. So again, it is about the battle that you have to pick. Do you want to waste your life by fighting a system for 10 years, or do you want to utilize those 10 years by being a part of a system where your capabilities, your strengths and potential will be recognized?
Okay, understood. Thank you so much.
Hi Sajjad, myself, Jilani Basha. Yeah, so actually, I just have a simple question here. So I have been, applying multiple positions which are exactly matching to my profile and experience. But even I have received a confirmation of being applied to that position from that particular company or vendor. But I am not being receiving any calls from the respective HR department or anyone from the post that is posted in the LinkedIn. So I'm just curious to understand whether I'm missing anything on LinkedIn, even though I'm new to the LinkedIn. So I am following everything as per the requirements. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Jilani, for that question. So first and foremost, I can tell you from an HR community representative, it is a lot of, it's overwhelming for the recruiters, the amount of applications that come through LinkedIn or any other channel. So I can apply one assumption here. If you're not getting a response from them, one potential reason could be is the job description they have or the requirement they have, and what is mentioned in your LinkedIn profile or your resume. Because please understand, these days organizations are heavily deploying automation, the bot, we call it an application tracking system, which looks at the keywords. So the person who wants that role, I mean, from an organization, the service order owner, as we call it, whoever is a hiring manager will give a job description and will say, okay, I need somebody with this, non-negotiables are these, or good to have are these. That will be fed into the system. And as long as your profile matches to a certain extent, then the ranking will be done. So the rating and ranking will be done to each profile that comes. And if you are above a certain threshold, that is when you will get a call or a response from the recruiter. So your profile needs to match to the requirement. Else, it is going to be very, very difficult. So just know the job description thoroughly and make changes to your profile. That is what I said. Depending on where you're applying, your resume, your LinkedIn profile should match to that.
Yeah, I got your point actually. Even earlier actually one of my friend not actually telling about this automation where whenever people are applying, the HR department might be receiving a number of applications. So they have this kind of automation where they will be searching for the certain words and according to that, they will pick those resumes. So thanks for the input, Sajjad. But I appreciate, as you are there in the HR department, if you can have another session some other time, and suggest us how to prepare a CV to make visible, or to make it like shortlisted for this for according to our positions or our experience. That would be great. Thank you.
So Jelani, you can actually go through the recording of the same platform that we are, because a couple of months back I took a session. There is a recording already, or Saif can help you with that link. It's already there. You can go through.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I missed it. Thank you.
The link is mentioned in the chat box. If you go to the chat at the very top, the link is mentioned, tinyurl.com/MFIRD. You can get lots of useful sessions from Sajjad Sahab in there.
Yeah, can I come in here?
Yes, Adhi.
Yeah, that was a wonderful session, Sajjad, and thank you so much for giving those beautiful tips on networking. I am a freelancer. I am a leadership coach myself, and networking is one of my key area which I keep doing every time. One query, curious question to you is, while I'm doing my networking and reaching out to newer prospects, at what point of time can I ask for business?
All right. This is a very tricky one, Adir. And first of all, thank you for coming on video, because a lot of us shy away from coming on video. But we don't realize that human beings, we read micro expressions, and that is how trust gets established.
I love to be seen, when I'm talking to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. And yes, I don't think so there is any hard and fast rule about, okay, what is the right time? But I think the right time is when the trust gets established and you kind of start getting to get a feeling that, okay, there is an opportunity or a requirement which is very clear to you. Okay. So I will give you an example that has happened. The request that I have shown you, the second one, where the person actually read my profile and started to look at some of the similarities, and he send that little one, not a lengthy one. I think LinkedIn doesn't allow you to send anything beyond 300 characters or words anyways. So he sent that, then he asked for a meeting, and the other common stuff that came out in that meeting is he and I had worked for GE at one point in time. Both of us started our career with General Electric. So there was kind of, a rapport that was established. And I think if the rapport doesn't get established, then it becomes a mere commercial relationship. So that rapport was established, and eventually 2 weeks later, he reached out to me, not with an open question, like, okay, what is it that I can do for Capgemini in the learning space? Because he has a firm in Australia.
Okay.
He said, I know that in Australia, Capgemini, there is this requirement. I just want to know who is the right person that I can reach out to. Okay. And it was very easy for me. I said, okay, this is the person. And I sent that email to both of them. And I became a super connector. Somebody who connects you to somebody else is called a super connector. And he and that person started conversation. I don't know if it transpired into a business or not, but rapport, trust, and an opportunity. Without knowing an opportunity, because again, if I show you an example of my LinkedIn profile, I get sponsored link straight in my mailbox that, okay, we are so-and-so company. We can do this for you. But unless and until I have an opportunity and a requirement, what can I do? I can't do much. So I think getting that intelligence first of what is the requirement. So just to give you another example, my requirement was on storytelling with data. I'm just saying. I'm in L&D. One of the business units says, okay, Sajjad, please tell us if there is anything in our catalog which talks about storytelling with the help of data. And if somebody reaches out to me on LinkedIn, that, okay, I am a consultant in storytelling, boom, because I have a requirement, and then here is somebody, I'll be willing to talk to that person first, right? So proactively just sending a business proposition might not yield unless these things are taken care of, is my opinion, Nadir.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody is Lenovo K8 Note is saying is Sajjad from Capgemini. Yes, it is.
I actually wanted to mention as Saab, but my mistake, I just typed it as Sajjad. Sorry for that. Okay, because I'm from Capgemini, I was just curious to ask that.
Yes.
So I joined in little late. Yeah, so just wanted, that's a question, nothing more.
No problem.
Great.
I have one question. As I said, for growth, we need to have a good networking and we need to be updated with the current trends, right? So since you are in Capgemini, so I believe that with respect to IT, I can ask a couple of questions. So one of my question is to be updated, which are the websites which we need to keep on track for getting the latest news with respect to the technology and with respect to the IT field, so that we can be updated with respect to the current trends and technology and requirements.
Okay, so Tahir, that question is a little off track to the topic, but I'll still try and attempt in answering that. So if I may ask, which organization are you working for?
Currently, I'm looking for the job.
You're looking for a job?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. But any other company that you have worked for in the past?
Yeah, I have worked for the IBM.
IBM, okay, great. So I think the first thing one can do is explore the training and development or the learning organization within the company. I'm sure IBM has a lot within the organization. So figuring out what is the structure of the learning department. I can tell you with confidence, if I roll out a survey today and ask all of you on the call, will you be able to tell me the structure of your L&D organization? Probably you will struggle. Because in learning and development, you have technical stream where the team will focus on technology. Then you have behavioral team, which focus on leadership development, people management, soft skill related stuff. Then specific to the roles that you play, if you're a project manager or account manager or a sales consultant, there are different verticals. The competency leads are there. Career frameworks are there. There's so much. So why is it that you have to do it on your own, going to the website, when your organization, the whole point for their existence is if they don't upskill their people, if they don't play in the new, they will be forgotten.
Yeah, so because of the COVID from past 2 years, so I'm looking for a job. So in this duration, I have realized the factors whichever you have mentioned, which we need to ingestize from the company. So those things right now I can't afford to get into. So because of that, so I have got the option. I don't have any option apart from finding out things from the open technology, open source, or whatever we are having.
Understood, absolutely. So the second part of my answer is there are a lot of websites like you have the Coursera's of the world or the Udemy or Simply Learn, Plural Site. These are some of the websites. If you are interested in the technical side, then you can go through these courses website. Some of it will be free. Some of it you will have to purchase. But if you browse through, probably I can just mention it here. If you have not heard about these, Coursera is one. Then you have Simply Learn is one. Udemy is the other. Then you have Plural Site. So these are some of the websites where some of them are learning aggregators and some of them will have their own courses. So depending on which area you are, because when you say technology now, technology is like changing at a drop of a hat. So whichever area you are in, you can go here and start searching and you will see a lot of content. LinkedIn Learning, thank you, Sajjad. Yes, that's also there. That way you have degreed, a lot of them. I'll just say degreed as well. And Unacademy is also there, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, Farooq.
Good afternoon, Sajjad sir. Thanks a lot for your valuable session. Actually, I'm a chief marketing manager for a real estate industry, and I have been in the marketing for more than 18 years. So what happened? The way you explained that to network in diversified fields. Whenever I approach a new guy, when we talk, simply they think that this guy came for marketing or something like that. Though not always my intention was, and I love to help people. And in many, I have a very friend circle who have in different diversified fields, and we help each other a lot. But to an unknown person, unknown group, how can I approach so that we can be in touch and help each other?
All right. So as I said, this person who reached out to me, the example that I gave, is somebody that I don't know. I don't even have common connections with this person. Though we had worked for the same company long back, but there are no connections. So a little bit of investment in understanding that person through their profile. So reading about some common stuff. And I'll tell you, this is what I have learned, not just in the corporate world, but in my personal life as well. So when I used to live in Amsterdam, a new place, new culture, different language, very few Indians back then. Now there are a lot of expats. So I was struggling to even talk to somebody because my friends were not there and I was there for a longer time and I had to make friends there. So I met somebody from Brazil, and this guy told me that the easy way to start a conversation is trying first observe the person and see what is it that you know, what is it that is coming out with this person. I said, come on, I mean, I don't know what you mean. He said, okay, look around. And I just looked around everybody. He said, okay, this person, what can you see? I said, this person, what is about this person? Nothing. He said, look at the bag this person is carrying. I said, okay, what about the bag? He said, what do you see on that bag? I said, there's a flag of London, UK. That is the bag that this person is carrying. You start off the conversation with that, saying that I'm sure you are from London or you are from UK. Then you have that attention from the person and then the conversation starts. Not necessary that that conversation might lead to something else, but at least you will get a point to start the conversation. So first is observation. Whoever you want to reach out to, observe their profile and see what is the commonalities that you can pick, or what is that line with which you have the confidence to start that conversation. And as I said, first deposit, withdraw later. So invest in that relationship first. Try and understand what is it that you can offer. Because if you are in real estate and obviously you want prospective clients and all, first establishing, knowing their needs, and then addressing with the solutions that you have. They themselves will come forward and probably will ask you, rather than you have to do a hard sell. They will take your services, but only when you are coming in their conscious part. Again, I'll give another example. Probably it is nothing to do with sales, but there is an Inspector General of Police in Hyderabad. Now, Inspector General of Police is a high class, right? I mean, somebody who is in a very senior position. Now, I am in IT. You might think that, okay, what can this person do with this person? I mean, an Inspector General of Police and somebody in IT and HR, what is the connection, right? But this person posts a lot of leadership stuff on LinkedIn, and I go ahead and like and comment. So that way, he knows that, okay, there is somebody called Sajjad. Then there was a dinner that was organized and he was a common invitee. I met him and I introduced myself, and that is how now he knows a face to the name. Eventually today, I have this Inspector General of Police on my WhatsApp, and we kind of talk about some books or leadership concepts and stuff like that. It took almost like 8 months for us to establish that. And now he's not on my speed dial, but when I reach out, I'm sure he'll pick up my phone and we will talk. So what I'm saying is relationships take some time. I know you might be hard pressed on meeting numbers. If you are in marketing or sales, you have to reach, but that is not my expertise. So I don't know what are some of the techniques that you can use there. But in establishing, this is what you can do.
Thanks a lot for your valuable experience. Thanks.
Adir, you have a follow-up question?
Yeah. If I'm allowed to do those.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Sajjad, at times, in some of the forums, I get to meet senior leaderships and also CXOs and CEOs. And what is it that I can do to establish that rapport with them? Because their domains are different. And what is it that I need to do? And what is it that I can, ask them or establish the relationship with them?
Yeah. So that is a very difficult set of people, isn't it? Because one, their attention spans are low, and second, they look at everything with a different lens. So I would say narrowing it down to who are the people that you want to, because going after everybody, you yourself will not have the bandwidth to do it. You will not have the energy to invest so much into them. So identifying the ones that you really want to establish. And again, as I said, it is not a guarantee that whatever you follow will yield results. As I said, it takes, I don't know how I can articulate what does it take for two people to tick. So commonality is one, but maybe these guys are not so open in sharing what they believe in or what their ideas are. They are not so easy to open up and share. Right. So that set of people, very, very difficult to establish, and after establishing, maintaining, because they are hard pressed on time.
So I try to establish a common ground, but still, the egos and the positions and the time is a big factor.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I think now that you asked me this question, I'm trying to connect some dots. The best way with them is a super connector.
Okay.
Because you yourself trying to go, you will be a lone wolf trying to capture their attention. But a super connector, again, I'll give you an example. So MS Hyderabad is a center here in Hyderabad, and they called me for a Guftagu session. They have a online YouTube channel where they call a few people for a Guftagu, like 15-minute discussion. And when I arrived at the studio where they were shooting as a physical interaction, there was another guy who they were about to finish talking. Okay. And he also realized that I'm the next person to be interviewed for that shooting. And he came forward and he gave me his visiting card. And I gave my visiting card to him. And I read, he is a journal counsel. He's a chief of compliance officer for a very large construction company here in Hyderabad. And while these guys were preparing their video cameras and all that stuff, we started chatting. And he asked me, oh, you're also from Hyderabad. Where do you stay? I say, in Gachibowli. He's like, I stay just like 2 kilometers away. We should catch up and all. It ended there. After that, I went online. I saw his profile, sent a LinkedIn connection. It was fresh in his memory. He accepted. Just last week, I thought, okay, I think I need to reach out. And I sent him a note saying that I want to pick your brain. If you're free, let's catch up for coffee. He said, very difficult, but you come to my office. I said, okay. I went to his office. During interaction, he told me that he used to work for Deloitte. And the chief people officer of Deloitte, Nathan, was very famous for his hashtag office truths. He puts a lot of stuff on LinkedIn. He said, he's a very good friend of Nathan. And I follow Nathan on LinkedIn because his piece of advice or the knowledge that he shares on just simple lines is amazing. True HR professional with 30 years of experience. I realized he stays in Hyderabad only. I thought he's somewhere in Bangalore, Mumbai, but he's in Hyderabad and this chap knows him. So I know for sure in coming few weeks or months, I will get connected to Nathan through him. If I send a request to Nathan today, he might have 10,000 followers on LinkedIn and he will not care. But if I go through this chief counsel, then he will
Super
pay
Connect.
attention.
That's where Super Connect will help.
Super correct. Yes.
Just one last question, a follow-up question of what you said. I'm loving this conversation. Sometimes you get to meet the CXOs and CEOs, in person, maybe for a short time. So what is the kind of elevator pitch that we should be having, in order to establish the network and also the contact?
Okay, very, very difficult. Very, very difficult to say, because again, when you talk about the elevator pitch or hook, then unless and until you know that person to some extent, what builds the curiosity in that person, it is going to be guesswork. But if you do proper research of that person, then probably you will get that, okay, if I put this hook, then I'll have the attention of the person.
So I need
it's all about meeting their objective. What is it? Rather than meeting our objective. I think this is the key difference, which in human interactions we fail to recognize. We are more often looking at what we want, and the other person is least interested in what you want. They are interested in what they want. So if we do investment in knowing the person through some sources or somebody else and all, and address what they want, they are yours.
Okay. Got it. Thank you so much.
All right. Any further questions?
Sajjad bhai, I have one question. I don't know how to start that from. So I feel like the individual, any person is the average of people around him. So whatever he is today, his behavior, his nature is the average of the people around him. So if the people around them, if the locality is not very good and he has to stay there, there is no other way. He cannot get into the posh area, or always have very high level, high thinking people around him. It's not possible. Is what I'm thinking. I don't know if it's really possible or not. So like for example, I have children. I want them to be in a very high thinking people around them, and I also want to be around people who who are from corporate, and like you, for example. I wanted to be like people around you who are at the higher level, and the thinking itself is different. But it's very difficult. I don't know how to establish that, how to get into connection with them and be in that atmosphere always. No, that's not really possible. So it's just a thought. I don't know if you have any answer for that or what. Just came into my mind and I just said that.
Very valid question, and I definitely have an answer. And I'm sorry your name shows Lenovo, but if you can just tell me your name,
My name is Shafiullah Khan. So I'm also from Capgemini. I'm into process excellence department. So yeah, so that one commonality I got, and that is how I started the conversation with you. I think you were talking about that sometime before. I messaged you. So
yeah, thank you, Shafi, for that question. And it is very easy. Let me tell you, it is very easy. You don't have to change your environment. As I said, all of us are in our personal situations. Maybe things are not possible immediately, but if one is on a pursuit of something, then eventually with time, the person will get there. So what I mean by that is, you don't have to let go the environment that you are in. If you or anybody for that matter is living in an area where you feel that, okay, these people probably their thought process goes here and then it stops. So you don't have to disconnect yourself from them. Coexist with them and make space for others. The key there is balance. I'm a very big fan of balance. And I think nature has taught us that. I mean, if you look at nature, it is in balance, though we are kind of screwing it big time. But wherever there is balance, then they are the level-headed people. Swaying at one side a lot will have repercussions on something else. So always create that balance. So if you look at my set of friends, I have friends who have not even finished degree. Forget about the intellect, but they have not finished degree. But I have a gala time with them when I go out on a weekend, spend time with them. And probably some of you in Hyderabadis here will be able to understand the chichorapan and all that stuff, chabutre pe baithna and all. I enjoy doing that. But at the same time, I have also invested in building relationship with people who will challenge my thinking. So just to give you a context again, what you just said, I have experienced on the day of Diwali. It was Diwali and all my friends were enjoying with their families. There was this McKinsey consultant who flew down from Qatar. He's from Chicago, but on an assignment in Qatar, and he has become a partner in McKinsey. So Saif, myself, and this guy is a part of a network, a foundation where we mentor people. So when I got to know that he's coming, I sent him a note. He just posted it on a common group that we have, that I'll be in Hyderabad. So I sent him a message that would love to catch up. He responded saying that, yes, why not? Let's fix a time. And we fixed a time, a place, and we met. Probably we wanted to meet for half an hour, but you won't believe we spent 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours with a partner of McKinsey, who's responsible for a large Middle East accounts and all. I met him. So it's all about looking at opportunities, identifying those people and reaching out. As I said, reach out. Don't wait. Make a list first. Okay, for the next 1 year, who are the people that I need to establish, connect with, and be in touch with? Then you will learn the art of networking. Believe me, it's very, very easy. Don't cut off yourself from your situation, but make room for others. That is what I would say, Shafi.
Thank you, Sajjad. So that was a great input. So the one point I am taking away is to reach out. Just don't wait.
Yeah.
That is the only thing. Maybe sometimes it will be successful, sometimes it's not. But
Yeah.
on average, you will learn over a period of time.
Absolutely. Yes. Because in that journey, you will start to realize some commonalities with people. They'll be able to tick with you, and then that relationship will flourish.
Okay, maybe I'm not a very good conversator or communicator. Sometimes I'm very good at some places as a communicator, and sometimes I'm very bad. I fail, hard time. So I don't know how to manage that. This is the second question, basically. Like you wanted me to, be a person who reaches out. I feel like I'm not confident in reaching out. I can fail very badly there. But there are some places like managing my team in the office. I'm a very good communicator. I can manage anybody. Uh, so some places I don't know whether all the human beings are like that. Like some places they're very good, some places are not very good. So we should be very good everywhere. That's what I'm thinking. But I don't know what.
So the answer lies in your self-reinforcements that you just did. So what you said, probably you didn't hear, but everybody on this call heard. You have reinforced your existing belief that you are not good at communication with strangers or unknown people. You're good with the team, but you have been telling this to yourself time and again that, okay, I am not good at communicating with strangers. So just think what your mind will do. And I'm telling you from my study of psychology, when I was moving into HR, even before that, I wanted to go deeper into the behavior part and all. And I'm still studying my master's in cognitive psychology. It says that whatever you feed your mind is what the mind will do. So our elders said, the question that you started off with, you said, Sangat ka asar. That is what we heard, right?
Yes.
The kind of people that you will be, you will become that. Why? Because you keep on hearing the same stuff from those set of people. So just like that, even when you are alone, your mind chatter, whatever you're feeding it in, it is like a loop. So if today you would have said that, okay, I am not yet a good communicator, or you would have said that, okay, I am working on becoming a great communicator, then you will be surprised that 5 years down the line, you will be taking a session here and there'll be other audiences. Think through.
Rightly said, Sajjad bhai. So I'm happy with the way you answered, and I'm definitely going to implement some of your points which you just said. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, Sajjad.
Yeah,
My name is Javid. So thank you for the wonderful session. You said you coach people, right?
So I have started my journey, Javed. So I do coaching in our organization, but professional coaching, I didn't want to pick any client without having a certification. So the foundation certification I just cleared this year, but there are different levels of certification. So I have not professionally started, but that is the journey that I'll be picking in a couple of months or years to come.
Okay, so I was just curious if there is any portal or if there is anything that I can join with. Thank you.
No, there is no portal, but I will be very soon selecting few who are based in Hyderabad that I feel I can coach, because I'll have to also submit a couple of hours of coaching. So without taking any money, I mean, just to gain experience and then put it on my application, because there are associate, professional, and master certification levels in that. I'll be rolling it out, and I don't know if I'll do it on LinkedIn and leave it open or select a few, but that will start hopefully next year.
Okay, I would like to. I would love to chip in, and yeah, so we'll try to connect on LinkedIn. Thank you.
Sure. All right.
Okay, thanks a lot, Sajjad Saab. In view of time, I think we need to close. It's such an interesting topic, and everyone is so much back with them. Don't want to leave you.
Hi, Tim. I had one question. I'm sorry. I was just waiting for everyone to finish. If I can, have a quick question. Hi, Sajjad. Hi, everyone. It was a great session I ever had. Thank you so much for that. So my name is Imtiaz, and I work for Cognizant. Okay. I have a question. Like, during my experience, like I have 10 years of experience approximately in IT industries. Just wanted to understand, say, I don't have a good rapport or, good, like what I say, that a good rapport with, my colleagues or my friends who work with me, around me. But if I come out of the IT organization, like, my childhood friends, I have a lot of people who are in connection with me. I'm good with them. We still have a long friendship with each other, but I don't have that, with my colleagues or my co-workers in the IT industries. Can you just help with that, please?
So, Imtiaz, there are a lot of variables in it, because when you say the rapport is not very good with your professional colleagues, then I don't know whether it is because of the conflicts. I mean, you have certain ideas about certain things. It could be the way the team needs to function, or it could be the decisions that are being taken, or it could be the way each other is behaving with each other, or it could be anything. So have you been able to identify that first? On that premise that you're able to say that, okay, you know why? This is the reason why my rapport with my colleagues is not good.
Okay. I try to understand that point, but I am failed to do so.
So the easy way, Imtiaz, there is to listen to your body when you are amongst your colleagues. When somebody is speaking, or if it is an email, or wherever there is an interaction. What do we mean by rapport? Rapport is nothing but when two people are in a situation, how do they look at each other? How do they interact? Right? So when you see any situation, or when you are exposed to certain things, and read what is happening in your body, if you are like feeling angry, if you are feeling frustrated, if you are feeling disappointed, what is the emotion that is getting invoked in you when you are dealing with colleagues? and then see a pattern. So then you will figure out, is it the language they use, or is it an attitude towards something? So instead of looking at or trying to label it that I don't have a good rapport, go and see the underlying reason and see if it is just with this set of colleagues that you are with in Cognizant, or if you had worked in other companies, was it with them? So if it is with a lot of people, then it has to be something that you will have to look inwards in you, because it is not about them, it is about you.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that's it. I'll change something. Thank you so much.
No problem. All right, so Saif Saab, I know you have been here as well for the entire 1.5 hours. So it was lovely interacting with you. Some good set of questions. Satam, you have unmuted. You want to ask something?
Yes, just I want to thank you. It's a very thought-provoking yeah, it's needed for the community a lot, and hope to connect in future as well. Just want to thank you a lot for that.
My pleasure, my pleasure. Thank you.
Next time it's thanking you.
Yep.
And I can connect with Sajjad Saab anytime because I'm in Capgemini. On Teams, I can just say Assalamu alaikum and develop that conversation.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sajjad bhai. I would like to hear more from you.
Sure. Very nice. Thank you once again. Thank you, Saif Saab. Speak to you guys.
Thank you, Sajjad Saab.
Thank you, Sajjad.
Thank you.
It's a really wonderful
very much
session.
for the informative session.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Sajjad sir.